Welcome. We've got some breaking news in the Chinese EV industry that I quickly want to comment about because it's actually really heating up now and referring to what I said in the previous videos. I said, number one, legacy auto, especially the Germans, are not gonna give up that easily on the Chinese market. And in general, I've said countless times now that it is time to make partnerships and deals. But I actually said this for NIO. Well, look who made the deal today. At least that's the rumor. Xpeng is up 33% on the rumor, and I'm calling it a rumor because I'm not sure how far it is confirmed by now that Xpeng is receiving this capital injection of 700 million in order to develop and build two EV models for Volkswagen. No one smaller and less than Volkswagen. Wow. And my first take here was, might slow down Xpeng, but opens the gate for a merger in the future. Now it's your time, NIO. Yeah, NIO is also up around 10% by the news. And so in this video, I'm going to discuss my views on this Xpeng news in specific, what it means for NIO and the entire industry, and a couple of comments in my Patreon community. By the way, just as a little break, there is also some more information coming about NIO order intake, and some industry figures here are saying on Weibo that NIO has, as of now in this week, taken in more than 20,000 orders, not deliveries, orders, and it's steadily and growing. So take this as a bit of information, not investment advice. And now back to Xpeng, where I posted, I think that was during the Shanghai Auto Show, yes, April this year. One of my patrons asked me, what's my impression about Xpeng, and I posted this video about the G6, so the latest model for Xpeng there, and I said I turned into a fan of the G6 immediately, and I think the interior is very well done, especially the doors. First Xpeng that I see could sell in Europe, setting the brand aside. This and the G9 are impressive and should do very well. Unfortunately, as a Tesla shareholder, I have to say that G6 and G9 make a better impression to me than the Model Y nowadays, particularly in China. I think Tesla might have to position cheaper than Xpeng if this continues. Xpeng managed to climb the ladder in terms of product. Their NGP City Pilot was also good, but I don't think that they have an edge in autonomous driving and NIO NOP Plus, which is odd as Xpeng wants to be the tech leader. So if you watch my channel for a while, you know that I'm usually not positively speaking about Xpeng. I've never invested in this stock. I've been very critical about the quality of the product and the amount of cars they need to sell. But I have to be honest, I really liked the G6, and it was funny when I said that during the Shanghai Auto Show and I witnessed the car, and I actually said, this is exactly what Volkswagen should have built. But when I spoke to some other industry experts, they were like, well, we're still very skeptical on Xpeng, or rather turning more skeptical. They didn't like the G9, for example. And I was like, well, it's odd. Somehow now I'm getting this bullish feeling about Xpeng. By the way, still no investment, but maybe I'm always on the wrong side of my impression, always taking the contrary point of view. But I thought this model is really well done and could sell very well considering the circumstances. Right now, let's dive into Patreon discussions of today when the news broke. And by the way, you can become a patron. Just follow patreon.com/dongxi, and for the $10 tier you will get an invite into this community. And Maritza, she broke the news and said, well, Xpeng made a deal with Volkswagen. And I replied, interesting development. I think it will slow down Xpeng, their own ambitions, but maybe Volkswagen will take them over at some time. And Volkswagen made the decision in China how to proceed now. Now the news is slowly tightening on NIO. What I mean with that is, I talked a while here on the channel right now that I think lots of things are currently happening in the industry, and there's consolidation happening, but also new partnerships. We had the deal before between Audi and SAIC and Volkswagen with their joint venture partners, and now they're making the deal with Xpeng. And I know that the leader of Volkswagen in China, Brandstätter, he is quite impressed with the autonomous driving of Volkswagen from what I'm hearing. And to be honest, I think they're in the top 3, so it's quite impressive. So one idea could be that Volkswagen wants to build an EV model that is compatible with the long-term prospects of what Xpeng is developing there in the area of autonomous driving. So that would be kind of a positive take. The negative take, and that was my first impression, was actually that I think it sounds to me like Xpeng is giving up there. Sort of, they see how difficult it will be to become profitable, to break even. They need to sort of sell millions in order to make this possible. And so taking on this project, being paid, getting this capital investment, but possibly also some project fees for designing and developing the cars for Volkswagen, they are maybe even producing them, who knows. That has interesting potentials for Xpeng there. It's a way of generating cash flow. And funnily, this is a little bit what I rather envisioned for NIO, right? That they might be focusing their key activities and resources on developing cars, designing cars, not so much on the manufacturing part. So who knows? Well, let's see how this rumor is developing, if it's actually true. But let's see how much of Xpeng will be doing for Volkswagen there. But the fact that Volkswagen is sticking its big brand and reputation here on a low quality car, like it's competing in the lower tier segment in China, right? That's quite telling, because Volkswagen is not doing that easily, right? And this might actually help Xpeng in selling, for example, the G6, which I think is a great car, again, in Europe, right? And so far I saw that Xpeng might be struggling in Europe, but maybe this will, who knows, maybe run under the Volkswagen brand and just being produced by Xpeng, who knows? But this is all of this interesting potential there. Another comment I made here is NIO will have to deal with the new competition landscape. Can they win alone? NIO just diluted 5% at all-time lows for 760 million. What's the strategy here? I can't see it yet. If today's news about Xpeng is real, it will put more pressure on NIO management to act. It will make it more likely that we also get some sort of a deal partnership. I'd love to see the deal around NIO Power. So why is NIO up today as well? Because frankly, just what I've said here, I think it's making a deal more likely, a partnership announcement for NIO. Will it be in a similar way than what we see between Volkswagen and Xpeng? I don't know, frankly. To be honest, I wouldn't look forward to such a similar deal, because as I just pointed out with Xpeng, I think it will kind of, it's feeling more like they are giving up and not, going full steam as a startup down on their own vision of becoming its own brand. It seems more like, okay, we need a partner, otherwise we won't survive. For NIO, they have a much bigger vision. They have something, much more desirable. And I think currently the management thinks they can do it alone, on their own. However, they just raised 700 million at the latest lows. And that is not the way to do it, in my point of view. And if they would raise today, then they would bank a couple more millions there. And now let's see. I rather want to see a deal for NIO around the area of NIO Power. So not so much about the car business, but rather maybe about battery swapping, about grid balancing and those sort of things. Maybe with another OEM, maybe with an electricity provider, maybe some sort of an IPO. But I think that would take a huge chunk of cost off of NIO's balance sheet, if you will, or of its daily operations and capex management and that sort of thing. And this is really something, if NIO wants to get big with all of the sub-brands and with NIO as a premium brand and doing all of this infrastructure build out, at this point I see where NIO could partner up with somebody and where it would be healthy. And given all of what's going on here now with Volkswagen, with Xpeng and so on, where it's a decision to make for the management there, how they think they can execute on their vision going forward. So I still think it's time for NIO to make partnerships. I think we're close to getting something, an announcement. The market seems to kind of start pricing that in. We'll see. Let me know in the comments what you think about this day, about the stock price movement in Xpeng and NIO, about the topic of partnerships. Thanks for watching. See you in my next videos.